At the class, Cody was reluctant, preferring to draw at home. Vanessa insisted he try to make new friends. Cody doubted kindness in the world, but Vanessa encouraged politeness. Other kids admired Cody's costume and guessed Vanessa was British and sent on purpose. Cody proudly explained his costume preserved the Paralan family's honor. Another boy, Clark, defended Cody and gave him an apron. Cody thought Clark's father was a sailor, but Clark corrected him. His dad was a dentist and one of the best. Clark smiled, proudly showing he brushed his teeth well. The teacher invited kids to draw something for their parents. After class, Vanessa checked on Cody, who grumbled he had to return next week. He suspected Clark was colorblind and needed training to work with shadows. In the car, Adam asked Cody what he had drawn. Cody hadn't drawn anything yet but hoped to create a masterpiece next week. Adam shared what he enjoyed most about painting, mosaics, encouraging the boy to explore. Vanessa smiled, watching Cody slowly open up amid the strange, tense world around them. Suddenly, the driver abruptly fell silent as he noticed something bad in the rearview mirror. Vanessa noticed this and began to ask what he had seen behind them. Without explaining much, Adam only asked the passengers to hold on tightly, then slammed on the gas, causing Vanessa and Cody to slam into the back of the seat. The girl asked Adam to explain, but he wanted to be sure of his suspicions first. The nanny then looked out the window at the car likely chasing them. The driver realized his sharp maneuver hadn't prevented the pursuers from following and began to think of his next move. He needed to get away at all costs and keep Cody safe. He made a few more maneuvers, but the dark car remained close. Vanessa was worried. Fortunately, there were few cars on the road. Adam, having increased speed, rushed along the highway. He planned to quickly drop off the passengers, then distract the pursuers himself. Cody wanted to know why they couldn't go with his dad, but Adam knew it was undesirable to bring those people to the mansion. Vanessa thought if shooting started, the boy might get caught in the crossfire. The nanny unbuckled her seatbelt and asked Cody to get ready. He realized she was going to jump out of the moving car, but she promised Adam would slow down. The driver turned sharply into an alley with a suitable place to drop them off. Without hesitation, Vanessa jumped out holding Cody tightly. She immediately hid behind a corner, hoping the chasing car wouldn't notice them. Soon, the car drove past without slowing. Cody breathed a sigh of relief, thinking they were safe. Vanessa peeked out to check. Cody tried to say something, but Vanessa quickly covered his mouth to keep him quiet. The dark car reappeared in the alley where they were hiding. Vanessa noticed it was another car searching for them. She feared the first car might see her jump out. The second car drove past without noticing them. Vanessa sighed with relief that they hadn't been found. She let go of Cody's mouth, and he asked who the cars belonged to. Vanessa didn't know, but guessed given the circumstances who might be chasing them. She took Cody by the hand and suggested they return home while she thought of a safe route. Meanwhile, Mr. Paralan was instructing the guards. Soon, he saw Vanessa and his son walking near the house. Cody rushed to his father, pushing Vanessa aside without a word. Oscar noticed the boy was scared and hugged him, asking if he was okay. Adam had contacted Oscar earlier and updated him. Oscar wanted to know what happened next. Vanessa told him there was a second car, but they escaped without problems. Cody, however, mentioned the neighbor's lawn had many garden gnomes, which he found terrible. Oscar realized that had scared the boy more than the chase. He sent Cody inside to change clothes. Vanessa approached Oscar, saying this time the threat was real because he had made enemies. She noticed Oscar seemed guilty but didn't admit it. Mr. Paralan decided to increase security. Vanessa planned to cancel the drawing classes. All she could do was minimize damage because what was done couldn't be undone. Cody returned, having forgotten to bring something for his father. He gave Oscar a drawing of his mother. Oscar noticed it was beautiful and very similar to his wife. Cody promised Vanessa he'd draw her next week. She wanted to explain he wouldn't have class, but Oscar put his hand on her shoulder, signaling her to stay silent. Oscar wanted to hang the drawing in his office. Cody went off to find a frame. When he left, Oscar told Vanessa not to cancel classes but to stay by his son's side. She didn't object, though she wanted the boy to be safe. Oscar prepared to make a call, dialing his uncle's number. The call surprised Johnny, but he knew Oscar needed help. Oscar asked him to send Nick and Anna, though they had agreed on minimal support. Oscar explained the city situation was heating up and he needed the two now. Johnny realized the clashes between Russians and Mexicans were escalating and hoped Oscar wasn't involved. Oscar assured him he stayed out of such matters but was concerned about group actions. Johnny offered a doctor, but Oscar had no job for her. He said the doctor would find something to do herself. Nick and Anna could only arrive next week. Johnny asked about little Cody's affairs before ending the call. Oscar thought his uncle knew about the pursuit and was already considering the Mexicans. A driver ran up, out of breath, reporting he had lost the pursuers. He told Oscar that Cody and Vanessa were safe at home. Oscar thanked the driver, who said he was just doing his job. Adam joked Vanessa should be thanked as a champion at jumping out of cars. The driver agreed Oscar was lucky to have her, wherever he found her. Oscar disagreed, trusting his inner voice. Looking at the house windows, Oscar noticed Vanessa standing there, watching in his direction. Late afternoon, Vanessa settled on the bed with the tablet. She found no files on Oscar's network older than a couple of months and no mention of a fire in his family. She understood data was periodically deleted. She saw no point in accessing the network but thought such an organization must store data somewhere else. Maybe not locally. Vanessa recalled the mirroring program and decided to try accessing data through it. She knew if data wasn't stored on the network, it was sent elsewhere. She began hacking again to trace where the data went. After hard work, Vanessa found a larger network with serious firewalls and fake IPs. Oscar did not have access. She decided to find who controlled it by preparing a small gift for the mysterious collectors. A week later, Vanessa took Cody to drawing class. She told him to behave, but he objected, confident he was great. Vanessa had noticed his self-confidence but hoped he wouldn't do anything foolish. Entering the classroom, Cody threw his apron at Clark, not wanting to stain his clothes. He noticed Clark wore a gardener's uniform and learned Clark's mother had picked it out. A mustachioed man entered with a brush and invited the children to introduce themselves. Another nanny asked Vanessa how long she had worked as a nanny. When she said 2 weeks, the other nanny, Olivia, was surprised, as Vanessa looked very professional. Olivia had worked for 8 months in the same family but the child still hated her. Olivia had to take the child to piano and tennis lessons, during which the child cried. The girl under Olivia's care refused homework, only ate yellow food, and called Olivia by the previous nanny's name. Vanessa realized Olivia was struggling. Vanessa had her own difficulties, such as running and hiding from pursuers, but tried to stay positive. Suddenly, the classroom window shattered. Shards flew and stuck in Vanessa's face, but she was more worried about Cody. She ran inside to see a man holding the baby threatening others with a gun. The children were terrified and cried. Vanessa prepared to stop the villain, but he ordered her to stay or the boy would suffer. She stopped and asked him to release Cody. The boy shouted to Vanessa as if warning her. Suddenly, a shot rang out, blood flowing on Vanessa's arm. Olivia had shot, aiming to remove Vanessa. Another shot followed, and Vanessa fell, unable to move. The man and boy fled. Cody shouted to Vanessa, thinking she was dead. Olivia caught the villain and suggested retreating through the back door to avoid the family driver. Vanessa regained consciousness, head spinning. Leaning on the wall, She tried to find Cody. Adam appeared, having heard the shots. He caught Vanessa as she nearly fell, asking where Cody was. Seeing Vanessa was shot, Adam began to stop the bleeding. Vanessa thought it was a scratch. She took out a phone showing a beacon indicating Cody's location underground near a river. The driver offered to send the location to Oscar immediately. Adam wrapped Vanessa's hand, but she insisted on rushing to find Cody now, asking Adam to catch up later. The driver urged her to wait, but she ran toward a nearby tunnel. Vanessa knew she could reach Cody faster on foot. At the tunnel, a rusty lock barred her way. She kicked it with all her strength. It broke on the first blow, and Vanessa fell inside. Almost there, she saw a boy tied with rope who shouted a warning. The man who took the boy appeared, waving a gun at Vanessa. She grabbed his arm and then his hand, pressing down to intercept the pistol. Now threatening the bandit with his own gun, she ordered him to stand still or die. Suddenly, Olivia's voice called out. Vanessa turned toward her. The bandit warned Vanessa not to do anything foolish or the child would be harmed. Vanessa asked who they were and what they wanted. Cody shouted they were a Mexican gang wanting revenge on his father, the best mafioso. Olivia revealed Oscar wanted to take over their businesses. The boy shouted they were just opening a shop and ordered the bandits to stay away. Then his father's voice was heard, praising the speech as excellent. Everyone immediately turned toward Oscar. He hadn't come alone. Nick and Anna stood beside him, ready to handle the situation themselves. Vanessa hadn't seen them yet and asked Mr. Paralan who they were. She noticed they looked like professionals who knew their business well. Anna lightly criticized that they had gotten into a mess on their first day and were prepared to fight. Nick noticed Cody, whom he considered his favorite little mafioso, and made a fuss in his direction. Mr. Paralan expressed how much he missed the two men, recalling their temper and habits. The villain began yelling that they should all go back south since the city was already occupied, but Oscar doubted this, saying they couldn't even save their weapon depots. Vanessa watched, noticing her boss trying to provoke the bandits. Olivia interjected, warning that although the gang was now on Oscar's side, they might change their minds later. Cody shouted defiantly that they would do as they wished and the bandit would see what happens to their enemies. Olivia tried to threaten the boy, but Vanessa immediately stood up, claiming she wouldn't do anything. She realized they didn't intend to kill her, otherwise, they would have done so as soon as she entered. Vanessa also realized this place was their main base. They hadn't expected to find her so quickly, and after losing many caches, it wasn't profitable to start shooting here, as the police could identify them immediately. Nick and Anna whispered how smart Vanessa was. Oscar had already told them about her. Olivia, still intolerant of their attitude, ordered Vanessa to be silent. Mr. Paralan decided to intervene, suggesting they not resort to guns and settle things like civilized mafiosi. Nick noticed they were outnumbered, 4 against 8, even with an injured nanny. Anna called it cowardice, but Olivia refused to be a fool and asked the others to lay down their arms first. Vanessa thought it best to comply, not wanting Cody to get hurt. Mr. Paralan holstered his pistol and put on the safety. The bandit who had stolen the baby was confident they could beat them with bare hands. Olivia ordered her men to attack immediately. Vanessa grabbed Cody and jumped aside, keeping him safe. The fight began mercilessly. Mr. Paralan and Anna fought skillfully, giving their opponents no chance. Nick also kept pace, skillfully defending against the bandits. One Mexican bandit approached Vanessa. Though wounded, she prepared to fight. As he neared, she struck him with her leg, knocking him down, then pressed him harder to the floor. Oscar and his assistant continued fighting the remaining bandits, who proved formidable. Vanessa decided it was safer to carry Cody away, putting him on her back. Before she could reach the exit, another bandit appeared, quickly handled by Nick. Before Vanessa could leave, The entire Mexican group lay immobilized on the ground. Cody jumped down and ran to his father, praising his quick action. Nick approached Vanessa, praising her fighting skills as a nanny. Anna said Vanessa reminded her of someone but couldn't recall who and wondered if Vanessa had been to Buffalo. Vanessa tried to answer but suddenly collapsed. Nick caught her just in time, realizing she had lost a lot of blood. Oscar ordered the bandits taken to the annex, leaving the assistants to handle it. He carried Vanessa to the car himself, insisting she rest after all she had done. When Vanessa next opened her eyes, she was in bed, her arm and head bandaged, and her body aching. Nick explained Anna had stitched her arm but was not a doctor. Vanessa didn't know who Anna was. Nick introduced her as his partner and himself as well. He knew from Oscar who Vanessa was, the hacker who caught bullets. Vanessa saw it as just a job, but Nick doubted they shared the same work. Nick visited to warn Vanessa she needed to rest at least a day. Vanessa worried about Cody, but he was now watching TV with his father. After Nick left, Vanessa realized Oscar had decided to increase security. He seemed well acquainted with their enemies. Though worried she had to stay in bed, Vanessa took her tablet to try again to find the full database through the mirroring program. She soon identified a network of devices, security cameras, personal computers, dozens of accounts, and located the main complex in the south. Curious where the data was stored, she considered the possibility of a deleted archive. Searching city of Albuquerque, she found the archive contained over 200 files about racing, jewelry, gambling, and deals spanning decades. Looking through this, Vanessa concluded her parents had been mafiosi, which displeased her. She guessed they were criminals involved in money laundering, casinos, horse racing, and black market jewelry. Their affairs eventually went awry, with sad consequences. Vanessa narrowed her search to find needed information faster, but suddenly the screen went dark and a warning appeared. Someone had disconnected her from the network. She didn't know who or why but suspected a hack. She decided to take Oscar's cybersecurity seriously. In Albuquerque, a young man surrounded by monitors noticed her hacking attempt. It was Simon, curious about what she sought and how she entered their system. Vanessa, having finished, asked Julia where Oscar's new people were. Julia said they were in the kitchen. Nick and Anna were discussing plans when Vanessa arrived. Anna was surprised Vanessa got up so early despite her injury. Vanessa thanked them, saying without their help Cody could have been seriously harmed. The nanny also thanked Anna for her support. Anna assured them they were there for that. Nick said they were deciding how to avoid similar incidents. Vanessa admitted it was a mistake to return to drawing classes since they could be tracked and an ambush expected. This saddened her, as she didn't want to be so predictable. Anna reassured her that Mr. Paralan himself had insisted on continuing studies. Nick added that with them there, Vanessa no longer needed to cover for him. Vanessa asked how long Nick and Anna had worked for Mr. Paralan. Anna said they had been with him even before he became the Dawn's right-hand man. Nick added Oscar had made them his representatives before sending them to Chicago. Vanessa was surprised Oscar had become a deputy only a year ago. She remembered his wife disappeared around that time and he was immediately appointed deputy. She found it strange, but Anna warned her not to tell anyone. Vanessa noticed something in the closet, a slightly open door. She changed the subject and apologized for her odd suspicion, admitting she needed to cook boiled eggplant for Cody's breakfast. From the closet, children's voices protested the dish. Vanessa opened the wardrobe door abruptly, greeting the boy. Cody sat among the dishes, realizing his spying had been discovered. He fell out of the closet, and Anna said it was time to get back to work. Nick smirked at Cody before leaving, joking he was unlucky this time. When alone with Cody, Vanessa explained eavesdropping was rude, but the boy claimed he already knew their conversation, which surprised her. Cody revealed that last year, bad men took his mother, and his father became a deputy to become stronger and find her. Both missed Mrs. Paralan. Oscar didn't trust the police and all his searches failed, which hurt him deeply. Cody said his father and men only returned her ring, and he cried. Vanessa comforted him, telling him crying would help. Cody insisted he was a man and men shouldn't cry, wiping his tears and pulling himself together. Mr. Paralan told his son that they wanted to take him next, but Vanessa promised it wouldn't happen. Cody doubted this because Vanessa didn't know the bad men or how to stop them. Bad things happened often. Cody decided he needed to be even worse than those bad men. Vanessa was shocked by the boy's reasoning, realizing how hard his life was. Cody hoped one day to become the Dawn's right-hand man, find those who took his mother, and ensure no one else's mother would be taken again. Vanessa recalled a night when Mr. Paralan mentioned a purpose for Cody but didn't finish the conversation. She now tried to guess what he meant, aware it would be harder than imagined. In Albuquerque, Simon noticed the system hack and thought how to fix it. He went to the doctor's room and knocked, hoping she was home. Wanda opened and asked why he came. Simon needed to see the boss, assuming she might be with the doctor. She invited him in, but he declined to avoid seeing the sight that could disturb him. Johnny appeared and asked why Simon had taken a break. Simon reported someone broke into their encrypted servers and it seemed an inside job. The boss noted Simon's job was to prevent such breaches. Simon said he cut off the network immediately. He explained their network was impenetrable but they still received data from the files. He noticed the package from Chicago was larger than usual. Simon guessed someone was trying to slip executable files. The boss asked him to keep things simple. Simon showed that Chicago branch programs updated faster than he could track. There were many security programs as if they were hiding something. Johnny thought Oscar's return of his people was suspicious. The boss decided Oscar had relaxed and needed reminding he was being watched. Johnny began planning what to do about Oscar. Meanwhile, Mr. Paralan was talking to Anna in the study about upcoming business. She had a few friends in town and promised to ask around, hoping to find out something. At that moment, Oscar's phone vibrated in his pocket. Seeing the call was from his uncle, he politely asked Anna to leave him, since the call was important. Left alone, Oscar answered and immediately asked why his uncle was contacting him so soon. Without further ado, his uncle told him about a new task and said he would send instructions at the same hour. Oscar opened the message on his tablet but decided to refuse, saying it was not in his competence. Johnny assured him he was mistaken and that the right person was now in the north of the country. The uncle was sure this case was for Oscar and asked why he was strengthening his security. Johnny suggested Oscar might be setting up a new base, but Oscar objected, saying he didn't need Nick and Anna for that. The uncle directly pointed out that someone had upgraded Oscar's internal network without permission. He also hinted Oscar was trying to rummage through his data and realized Vanessa was involved. But Oscar explained he had a new specialist who probably overdid it a little but that he would settle everything. Johnny reminded Oscar he could not hide from him and made the new task a priority. The next day, Cody was a little bored since his father ordered him to stay home until the babysitter got better. Vanessa did not want him to be bored and offered to play a game other than swimming. Cody asked what games she meant, and Vanessa listed a few, including hide-and-seek and charades. But the boy found all of them dumb and uninteresting and buried his face in the back of the sofa again. Suddenly, he jumped up happily and exclaimed he had figured out what to play, spies. Vanessa guessed he wanted to spy on his father, but Cody pointed to the guards in the garden. They were building something, but he was sure they were up to something else. He led Vanessa to the window. Several workers were running around with boards and shovels, nothing seemed suspicious. But Cody was sure he was right and hoped Vanessa wanted to find out too. Vanessa agreed, and Cody was happy. Then he added they would need ninja masks to play. Soon, They hid down the corridor with balaclavas on their heads, trying to step quietly and unnoticed. Mrs. Kenneth passed them and promised no one would find their bodies if she found they had been in her room. Vanessa and Cody crept up to the window, and Cody saw a pile of wood, as if people were building something. Vanessa looked at the initial structure and suggested it might be a shed for garden tools. But there was a separate room in the garage for inventory. Now Cody thought deeply about why he needed the shed. Vanessa also thought it unnecessary to take a team of guards to build it. Then Anna appeared behind them in a swimsuit and invited Cody to swim. He happily rushed to change. Vanessa noticed Anna's questioning look and tried to explain she was just playing with Cody. Anna advised her not to get involved or ask unnecessary questions. Anna notified Vanessa that Oscar wanted to see her and said she would look after Cody for now. Vanessa decided not to keep Mr. Paralan waiting and soon knocked on his office door. He opened it immediately and invited her in, but seemed too polite. Oscar asked how her shoulder was. She said it was fine and the bullet hadn't hit the bone. He thanked her for keeping her promise to protect Cody even at the cost of her life. Vanessa said she acted instinctively, because Cody was just a child. Vanessa realized the conversation was becoming domestic and asked what Oscar wanted. He asked her to find another person for him, stressing its importance. Vanessa assumed a new threat had arisen and looked through the window at Cody in the pool. But Oscar didn't mean his son. He handed Vanessa a photo of a man who looked somewhat like Oscar. It was his cousin, whom Oscar believed was in danger. He added the case had nothing to do with Cody now. He asked Vanessa for a favor. Although she had promised herself not to help unless it involved Cody, seeing the worry on Oscar's face, she agreed but said it would be a one-time help. Oscar thanked her politely. Later, Vanessa studied with Cody again, this time conducting chemical experiments creating a volcano. The boy wondered why it exploded. Vanessa explained it was the right combination of reagents. Cody remarked it reminded him of Nick and Anna, who he thought were quite explosive. Nick came in with Oscar and added he could be dangerous without his partner. Oscar was about to leave but needed to talk to Vanessa first. She understood, took off her rubber gloves, and handed Oscar a small piece of paper with the information he needed. She added the man was now in St. Louis. Oscar thanked her and ordered Nick to prepare to leave in 10 minutes. He leaned over to his son and promised that when he woke up in the morning, he would see his father returning. Cody asked what was wrong in St. Louis, but his father said nothing special, only asked him not to blow up the house. Cody joked that it was the kitchen, but Mrs. Kenneth should be consulted. His father asked him not to go to the garden while construction was underway. Vanessa looked out the window and saw the shed looked completed outside but work was still underway inside. She saw a lot of earth being removed and suggested it might be a deep foundation. She realized she was unlikely to understand what was happening in the house at all. Then she noticed Cody was about to drop the reagent into the volcano and shouted for him to put on his goggles. Late in the evening, Mr. Paralan's car reached St. Louis and soon arrived at the right place. Nick assumed the man must be there if his routine was correct. Oscar was sure, but Nick asked him to be careful, still unsure about Vanessa. Soon the car they awaited drove into the parking lot. Adam turned to Oscar confidently and said this was the right person. He asked if further action was needed, but Oscar calmly ordered the driver to open the trunk and prepared himself. Half a minute later, Oscar met Richard, his cousin, who was surprised, not understanding how he was found. Oscar explained he could never hide from his family and, with Nick, captured him. Richard begged to be let go and claimed he wanted nothing to do with the Paralans. Oscar ignored him and stuffed him into the trunk, though Richard said it was not too late to release him. Oscar couldn't, he was only following orders. Leaning over the closed trunk, Oscar wondered if he was doing the right thing with his relative. His thoughts were interrupted by Nick, who urged him to hurry before someone noticed. Oscar stood over the trunk, thinking about what would happen next. He agreed it was time to go but did not want to break the promise he made to his son. A few hours later, Mr. Paralan's car returned to his mansion. Vanessa was still awake at her laptop and heard a car pull up. Looking out, she noticed the driver did not drop Oscar at the main entrance as usual. Adam and Nick had already taken Richard, kicking and wrapped in a blanket, out of the trunk to hide him. It was quite dark, and Vanessa could only see the bundle being taken to the barn. The driver found it strange that Oscar would keep the kidnapped man in his backyard. Vanessa tried to see what they were doing so late, thinking they were just working. Suddenly, she felt a hand on her shoulder and shuddered in surprise.